Hey everyone, Sid Misra, Certified Financial Planner with Beacon Financial Group. Hope everyone's doing well. Wanted to bring you guys back for our second video in the series of cybersecurity with our expert, Dana Mantilia. Dana, how are you doing?
Hi there, I am doing very well. Thank you very much for having me back here for this. Excited to talk about today's topic, which is going to be phone scams.
Yes.
So another whole nother way that's been around for a long time, people getting phone scams, and you'd think that by now we would all have learned better, but we have not. So one very popular one is people pretending to be calling from a government agency. And what they also do too is they spoof the phone number. So if somebody looks down at the caller ID, it's going to look like it's the IRS calling or the Social Security Administration. So people get very nervous, and especially when some of these phone calls are intimidating, they're thinking, well, maybe I really should be following what this person's saying because it looks like they're calling from the IRS, and I'm going to be in trouble if I don't. So that's a big thing. We want to make sure everybody knows the governments aren't going to, no one's going to call you.
No, they're not.
It's going to send you a good old fashioned letter.
That's right.
To the post office. And then maybe they need to communicate with you and you have to call them, but they're not going to call you. I was just talking to a woman this morning who said that the Social Security Department was calling her and bullying her. And I thought, oh, this is not good. And I said,
that is not good.
Give any information? And she said, yes, she did. So that's the beginning of a new mess to clean up. So,
oh boy.
Yeah. And the more we can all talk, tell our friends, tell our clients, tell our relatives that this isn't going to happen. That way, at least if they do get a phone call, maybe they'll remember and they'll say, wait a minute, I remember somebody telling me, Sid was saying that government agencies aren't going to call me, and you're going to get the credit for helping that person out.
The awareness is important.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this is one, I don't know, have you ever heard of the grandparent scam?
I have, unfortunately. I've been reading a lot more about it. It seems to be popping up a lot more.
Yeah, and it's the unfortunate thing is that when a lot of seniors fall for this, they don't tell anybody because they're afraid that their adult children aren't going to let them handle their finances. And, so they just keep it very, very quiet. But this is a very, very popular scam. Let me just briefly describe how it goes. So somebody will answer the phone, and the person on the other end will be pretending to be someone's granddaughter, grandson. And they're like, Grandpa, how are you? Oh my goodness, I need your help. Please, I'm in a little bit of trouble and I need you to wire me some money. I'm in a Mexican jail right now, and I'm going to put the prison guard on the phone, and he's going to tell you what you need to do. So of course the poor grandparent is freaking out because they're thinking, my poor grandchild, number one, playing off of the emotion. And then number two, the urgency. So now the guy from the jail gets on the phone and starts telling you where you need to wire the money to. And that person is not thinking clearly. All they're thinking is emotional, their poor grandchild, and urgency. I have to do this right now. So they don't allow themselves to stop and think. Because if they did, and they said, wait a minute, is my grandson even in Mexico? Is this even a possibility right now?
Right.
And would he be calling me for money? So the more we can talk about this scam, again, because people get very, very, very wound up over this. And I've talked to people where literally they'll say, Mom, I no, my son is home. Your grandson is home. No, I'm telling you, I just spoke to him on the phone. And they really do get very, very convinced. So that's a good one to make sure everybody knows about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very sad. And again, when anything that's rush, or playing off of your emotions, those are two signs of a scam, which is good to always put those things, in the back of your mind when you're looking at any situation. Anytime someone's trying to rush you into something or they're playing off of an emotion, you should really take just a minute and back up and say, hold on a minute. Is this real? I just need to sit and gather my thoughts about this. So
great life advice as well.
That's a good point. Yes.
Yeah.
It pretty much applies to everything.
Yeah.
So if another one is when they call up and they're calling from a charity, and sometimes they put a little pressure on saying, oh, we're trying to meet this quota. We really need you to get your donation today, because if we hit X number of dollars, we're going to be able to double our money, whatever it is. It's always some kind of added pressure that we need you to act quickly right now. And what everybody should do is even if they do want to donate, they should say, thank you very much, get off of the phone, and then somehow verify this charity another way. And they could call, they could call a relative, they could call you, Sid, and say, hey, could you help me if it's one of your clients?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you'd be more than happy to say, well, hold on, let me help you out here. Let's take a minute and see if this is something you should be donating to. But this is a great website that you can go to and verify that it's a legitimate charity, and also find out how much of your money is actually going to the cause.
Right.
That's another thing too, is that sometimes, you're donating $100 and only 2 of it is getting to the actual cause. So that's important too. Let's see here. So here is the do not call list. Is your phone number on the do not call list, Sid?
We definitely added it. I still get those calls, but we've added our cell phones, the house phone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you have to do it every couple of years. I think it lasts for maybe 2 years. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a good thing, and it doesn't stop everybody from calling, but it does stop the legitimate people that know that they shouldn't be calling you. So at least you're getting, some of them from ringing the phone. This is another great one too for your cell phone and for your home line, which stops the robocallers. Because what happens a lot of the time is these scammers they're dialing hundreds of numbers at the same time, and then when somebody picks up the phone, their dialing will go to that person, and then and you can kind of tell sometimes because there's a pause a little bit at the beginning of the phone call. But if you're not paying attention, and if we could just stop getting these calls, that would be more helpful. And that's what I always say: if we could limit the number of calls that people are tempted to answer and possibly fall victim to, then that's a handy little tool. I put this on my cell phone, and I don't get any robocalls at all. So I think it's pretty handy. And
I'm gonna have to download that on my phone.
Yeah, it's very easy to do on the phone. And then if you go to this website to figure out how to do it for your landline, depending upon where you live, it'll show you, how your system works. Like we have Comcast where I am, so it'll tell you this is what you do for Comcast. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And now we all have the cell phones that we need to take a look at. And one thing we need to really, really look at is the security settings, because a lot of these apps on our phone, along with the phone itself, they have access to everything and anything. They can see our pictures, they can see our contacts, they can have access to the microphone and the camera. And we really don't need to be giving, you carry your phone everywhere. So everything you're doing, your phone knows you're doing, which is kind of startling, but so
a little scary.
It is. I mean, think about it. Your phone pretty much knows more than anybody else about you.
That's true.
Yeah. So everybody, and there's different phones, but so if you go into your individual phone and go to the settings, and then there's going to be a security and privacy section where you can go through for the specific phone settings. And then there's going to be a section where you can go through for the app settings. And it's going to show you which apps have access to your microphone, which ones are tracking your location. And if you can go through, sometimes you can turn some of those functions off and still have the app on your phone. Right. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they're saying, well, if you're going to take this off, then you can't have access to the app. Right. But then we really have to ask ourselves, do we need this? Do we really have to have this app? Are we using it? Right. And also going through and, let's purge some of the apps that maybe you downloaded a while ago. You don't need it. And if you don't need any apps, let's get them off of the phone, because if they're unnecessary and they have access to all of our information, we're just setting up ourselves for more exposure. And then let's say that company has a data breach. Now that information is all over the place. So.
And then I think also maybe one more point, just be conscious when you're downloading a new app, what information you are sharing with it, right? Because you can check in the app store, maybe whatever phone you have, right? You can check what information that they have access to, correct?
Yes. But sometimes people are just so quick to get that app.
Just get it. Yeah. It's fun, right? It's a fun game.
I got to get the app. Yeah. So they're not looking. So, and they know that too. That's why they put that stuff all jammed in there. So anyway, those are a few little tips for everybody to be a little bit more safe on their cell phone, as well as the calls that are coming in on their landlines. So let me ask you, do you have a lot of apps on your phone?
I have a good amount, but I try to use them, and then I'll get rid of the ones I don't. But, sometimes they just kind of sit there and collect dust. Yep.
I agree. I have the same thing. And now I'm trying to be, more aware of, let me just get rid of this thing if I don't need it, and trying not to download everything and anything. So anyway, all right. So that's our little thing. Anything else you want to talk about with the phone?
No, I think that you covered everything. That was fantastic. Thank you.
All right. So next time we're going to talk about
mailbox safety.
Yes, mailbox safety.
Mailbox safety.
Yes, and people think, oh, what's the big deal with the mailbox? There's a lot of good stuff in there. It's like a treasure trove for identity thieves. So we're going to make sure we talk about a few different aspects and some of the free protective tools that you can sign up for. So be sure to stay tuned. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. And stay tuned for the next episode where, like Dana mentioned, we'll be talking about mailbox safety. Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.